Good evening, volleyball fans. Hey, we're here tonight at Denfeld High School as your Denfeld Hunters will take on the Marshall School from Duluth. Some call it just the Duluth Marshall. But the JV is starting off with us. They're 3 minutes out from game time. Looks like the lineup for the Hunters will be for use tonight. It's number 17, Peardy, number 9, Poppenberg, number 15, Johnson, number 16, boy, I'm blanking the name. Pond, number 13, number 12, Treadle, number 10, Vessel, number 23, Linetto, number 16 is Jones, Hunter's missing a few players. Time of year where the injury bug is starting to hit a few, especially the varsity team. From the Marshall School, number 15, Agenter, number 1, Ashbury, number 8, Carlson, number 13, Grossnick, number 10, Haberman, number 6, Johnsrud, number 9, Mason, number 11, Morrill, number 3, Scaffey, number 5, Steinbach, and number 12, Villa. Hadn't been able to check over the lineup too much to see if it's actually, that's what they have. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 11 on the lineup that they gave me. There's 10 players on the court, so there's 11 sneaking around. Okay. So I guess they have all their players. Hunters look to finish their warm-up. During the volleyball season, when you have so many games to start off with and you jam so many games, when you have just one game in a week, it seems awful odd. Next week, the Hunters will have 3 games, starting off on the road in Princeton on Monday night. With the temperature being good and warm outside, of course, good old Denfeld. The Den here is got some heat to her. Hunters break the huddle. Starting for the Hunters will be Jones, Linetto, Vessel, Poppenberg, Johnson, Peardy. Pond will go and come in on the libero switch. See if we can get who we've got for the Marshall School. Johnsrud. There's a number 16. I don't have a number 16 on my list, so that is up to me. Haberman. Scaffey. And here's Peardy, deep serve, back row. Marshall's got to put over the 3-ball. Sets it up. Priority with the set. Over to Linetto. Linetto puts it over. Marshall survives that. Puts it down. That's going to be out. Side out Hunters. Or not side out, point Hunters. Hunters with the serve. Puts it up. Johnson. Priority. And Vessel's going for the corner, but that's going to be out long. Side out Marshall. Johnson, Biardi. Jones hits it long and out. Point Marshall. Scaffey to serve. Vessel just puts it over on the first touch. Marshall takes a swing. Johnson, Pond. Jones hits it toward the back row. Marshall is able to get under it. Marshall takes a swing. Pond. Biardi. Vessel pushes it over deep. Tries to catch Marshall off. They're scrambling a bit. Here, Pond. Biardi puts it into the net, but it goes over. That little set into the net went and fooled Marshall. Side out Hunters. Vessel with the serve. Deep serve. Marshall gets under it, sets it up. Puts over the 3-ball. Vessel. Yardy. Johnson goes deep corner. And tight to the net. Point Hunters. Vessel. Tall one with the serve. That's going to be a service ace. Hunters up 4-2. A lot of the girls that are playing for the Hunters play club volleyball. Here we have a rotation violation on the Marshall school, but the coach for the Marshall school, Bill McCrae, is actually some of the girls' coaches for Club Hunters volleyball. Coach McCrae, longtime friends with head coach Larry Modine, head coach for Marshall. Larry decided that he wanted a friend to coach the JV and asked Bill to come over, and he said absolutely. So all indication, Coach McCrae will be joining us as one of our coaches for Club Hunters. Marshall breaks the huddle after the rotation violation. Vessel will step in to serve. Vessel up in, deep serve. That's going to be a service error. That's the first service error that Denfeld's had. So side out, Marshall. Marshall with the serve. Pond, priority. Johnson puts it deep. That's down the line. Marshall plays it. Marshall sets up, puts over the 3-ball. Here comes the set. Jones puts it over in the middle, tries to catch him. And it catches him off enough. Point Hunters. Addison Linetto to step in for the serve for the Hunters. Serve down the center. Marshall sets it up, takes a swing. Down and in for the point, side out, Marshall. Here, Marshall with the serve. Here's a rotation violation on the Hunters. Gives a point back to Marshall off of a rotation violation. Pond, Yardy. Jones puts it into the net, point Marshall. All tied up at 6s now. Grosnick to serve for Marshall. Pond, Jones, Poffenberg. Marshall sets it up. They just tip it over. Johnson gets it tight to the net, was a bump set. Ray Lynn just doesn't get under it enough to get it over to Poffenberg. Here, Marshall to serve again with a 1-point lead. Johnson just puts over the 3-ball. Out of the system, but Poffenberg pushes it over. And that's an outswing by Marshall. Side out Hunters. Jones to serve. Jones, right-handed serve, delivers it. That's going to be a service ace. Haberman got in the way of Grosnick, deflected off, and there's your service ace. Jones again off the top of the tape, but bounces straight back. That's Duluth's service error. Marshall seems a little confused with their rotation. Lefty swinging, and that's a service ace for Carlson of Marshall. Marshall up 8-9. Jones over to Raylan, over to Johnson. And that's going to be well under the net. Is Marshall. Carlson just couldn't put on the brakes. Johnson to serve, right-handed. Pond puts it over on the first touch. Marshall does the same. On the second touch, we put it over, and Marshall puts it into the net. Fast and furious action. Denfeld now up by 1, 10-9. Marshall sets it up, but they just send over the 3-ball. Vessel, Raylan, Poffenberg. Poffenberg puts it into the net. Here's Marshall, number 16, who I have no clue is because there's no 16 on the roster. Well, there's a drop ball for Marshall. That's actually Marshall's 4th drop ball in the set, just allowing the ball to drop down without any attack. Poffenberg deep serve to their libero. Set it up 3-ball. Poffenberg over to Piardi. Over to Vessel. Vessel hammers it, but it goes long. Score now tied at 11. Serve. Hahn. Yardy. Vessel just gets it over the tape. Marshall pushes it over. Yardy. Vessel hammers it down. Marshall scrambling and not going to get it over in 3-point Hunters. Raylan Yardy with the serve. Deep serve. Marshall just pushes it over. Johnson. Yardy. But she's going to get underneath the net. She also tried to throw on the brakes and skidded past the line. Underhand serve for Marshall. Don't see that a whole lot. Linetto hammers it home. Yardy. Jones. Linetto gets it over, stays out of the net. And no one goes after the first touch. That's just dropped down for Denfeld. Marshall up by 1, 13-12. Jones. Yardy. And into the net puts it Vessel. Marshall now has a 2-point lead. Hunters need to go and stop this now. Vessel. Yardy. She just pushes it over. They don't set up the attack. Marshall takes a swing. Johnson. Yardy. Marshall swings off the touch and out, but it's off the touch, so that's a point. Marshall up 15-12. Johnson. Raylan puts it over, and on the second touch, Marshall can't handle that. Side out Hunters. Vessel the serve. Deep serve. Marshall sets it up tight to the net. They tip it over. Raylan just drops it over. They go after it again. They got to get back into the system. Just gets it over and across. Hunters need to go and settle it down, but scrambling by both teams. Jones. Linetto pushes it over. Here, Marshall's able to set it up tight to the net. Not able to get it in. Hunters with a point, only down by 1 now. Vessel gets it, and the overpass, and Alex Johnson is unable to handle that. She was afraid to go over the net too much, and just ball crept in between her hands and the tape. Vessel over to Raylan. Jones tips it over. Marshall scrambling, able to get it over. Jones over to Linetto. Marshall digs it out. Serves over. Vessel. Over to Johnson. Unable to get that over. Down and in for the point for Marshall. Marshall up 17-14. Vessel. Over to Raylan. Johnson bumps it over. Tight into the net. The slight overpass by Marshall benefits the club, or the Hunters. Here Linetto is with the serve. And deflecting off. Point Marshall. Marshall up 18-15. Tight match so far between the Hunters and Marshall. Johnson just pushes it over. Marshall. Vessel gets it. Johnson. Ray Lynn gets it over. Set up. Jones takes a swing. It creeps over the net. Side out Hunters. Excellent to see somebody taking a swing for the Hunters. Jones, deep serve. Back row attack. That's going to be out by Marshall. Point Hunters. Hunters now only down by 1, 17-18. Need to get more points off of their service. Marshall, they're going to send over the 3-ball. Denfeld needs a good pass, good set. Here we go. Poppenberg takes a swing. Marshall handled it, kind of, and drops in for the point. It's all tied up at 18. Hunters getting into the system, which was good there. Marshall just sending over the 3-ball. Here's a good pass. Need a good set. Johnson tips it over. Tight to the net, over the block. Jones, not a great pass toward the referee stand. And it's a side out Marshall. So now Marshall's up by 1. Carlson to serve for Marshall. Jones digs it out. Marshall goes cross court. Here, Hunter set up. Poppenberg, long swing, and that's going to be out. The Hunters got into the system, just an error on the swing there, but you'd rather have them swing and go out than just bumping it over and letting the other team get involved. Sets up. Poppenberg takes a swing. That goes back road. Marshall's able to bump it over in 3. Hunters just bump it over. Back row attack coming by Marshall, and they put it into the net. Side out Hunter. Hunters down by 1. Alex Johnson with the serve. Down in the corner. Service ace. It's tied at 20. Alex Johnson again with the serve. In the center to their libero. Marshall swings. Jones. Ray Lynn over to Vessel. Marshall somehow handles that. Sets it up. Johnson. Jones. Pond pushes it over. Johnson unable to dig it out enough. Marshall gets a side out there. They're up by 1 point. Number 16 takes a swing, and we have a violation of rotation by Marshall, so that gives the side out and the point to the Hunters. It's tied 21-21. Poppenberg, service error. Service error gives the ball back to Marshall after they gave us the ball on a rotation violation. Hunters need a good passing. Ooh, off Johnson's face. But she's still in it. Vessel down the line and in for the kill. Side out Hunters. Alex Johnson looks nowhere's for the wear. She takes one off the beak. They keep it in play. Coming back. Pushes it down the line and in. Excellent play, but very close. Raylan with the serve. High, deep serve. That is down and on the line and in. Hunters up 24-22. Set point right here. Good serve and some good defense. Gets the Hunters a point. Marshall just sets it over. Linetto, side out Marshall. 24-23. Hunters up by 1. Side out on this very serve. Gives the Hunters a point. Ray Lynn sets it over. Johnson, she pushes it over. They got to settle it down. Cross. Vessel puts it deep, and that's out. It's tied at 24 now. There was a little scrambling there. Denfeld finally settled it down. But the hit was long. Vessel. Over to Rayland. Jones hits it. Marshall's chasing. They send it over the free ball. Johnson. Rayland. Vessel just bumps it over. Here Marshall gets to set it up. They hit it out deep. Point Hunters. Side out, but they have to win by 2. So Hunters up 25-24. Set point here for Vessel. We'd like one of her classic aces. But Marshall gets under it. They take a swing, goes over. Hahn. Rayland. Jones punches it over. Side out and point Marshall. 25-25. Got to win by 2. Ashbury with the serve from Marshall. Denfeld sets it up. 3 ball. Sent over. Marshall sets it up. And they hit it out. Side out point Hunters. Hunters have the opportunity for set point here. Linetto in, down for the point. That's the set. Hunters take that one 27-25 on a Linetto ace. Each team had their bright spots, had their low spots. Service errors for the Hunters. They led them, Marshall in those. So Denfeld had 3 service errors. Marshall had none. But as in drop balls, in bad communication or just letting in, Marshall had 6 of those. So 6 of the 27 points that the Hunters had were just balls that Marshall didn't communicate and they just let drop, where Denfeld only had 1 of those. So after those errors that are all tallied up, you come up with a 27-25 victory by the Hunters. Got our break here, a minute 40 left in the break. Obviously, the coaches are talking about what they can be working on and for this next set. I have a feeling it's going to be another close one, hopefully in favor of the Hunters. Thank you, everybody, for watching on the Hunters Volleyball Network. Thank you to Johnson Carpet One, who helps us with giving us a little money to buy some of the equipment that helps us provide these wonderful matches. All right, for the Hunters, we're starting out Treadle, Vessel, Linetto, Hoppenberg, Johnson, Jones. Pond to come in on the libero switch. Marshall. Well, we've got number 16, who have no clue because she's not on the roster. We got Johnsrud. We have Scaffey. We have, there's a 14 out there that I don't have on my roster either. We got Haberman, and we have Scaffey. Hold it. Is there 2 number 3s there? Because this will be really confusing. Oh, that's a 13. That'll be better. Grossneck is the other one. She wasn't turned enough. So here, Jones, Treadle, Linetto, swing, down, and that is out. Side out Marshall. Scaffey with the serve again. Or no, they kept the serve. Vessel down and in. It's going to be tight to the neck. That's a side out for the Hunters. Tied at 1. Treadle, who sat out the first game, will be starting off to serve this one. Hard serve. Kept in by Marshall. Marshall's got to put over the 3 ball. Jones, Pond, Treadle gets it over. Marshall taps it over. Treadle, Jones, Vessel. Here Marshall sets it up. They take a swing. Treadle has to go at Johnson. Treadle's got to put over the 3 ball. The swing there. Johnson over to Treadle. Vessel, and hits it into that side out Marshall. Marshall up 2-1. Ashbury to serve. They just put over on the first one. Johnson. Treadle puts it deep. Catches them sleeping on the back row is Treadle. Here, Vessel. There's the service there by Denfeld. Gives the ball back to Marshall. Marshall up 3-2. Johnson. Vessel. Johnson just puts it over. And Marshall takes a swing, and that's a swing and a miss. Side out Hunters. Linetto will have the serve. That would have been the first drop ball for Marshall, which was the Achilles heel for them last game. Marshall swings, just puts it over. Vessel, Treadle, Jones, deep corner, no, it's out. Side out, Marshall. Marshall up 4-3. Carlson to serve for Marshall. Jones has a deflect off her arms and goes out. Marshall up 5-3. Carlson measures up her steps from the line. She swings. Vessel over to Treadle. Treadle over to Johnson. Johnson swings, and that's a kill for her. Alex Johnson with the authoritative swing. Jones with the hard serve. Marshall handles it though. But they just put over the 3-ball. Jones, here they get into the system. Poppenberg, they're unable to get the kill, but the overpass by Marshall gets Denfeld a point. Story Jones steps back. Service error by Denfeld, their second. Vessel over to Treadle. Johnson, she just bumps it over deep. Marshall just puts it over. Johnson takes a swing. She puts it into the net. That's all right. At least she's swinging. Point Marshall. Marshall up 7-5. There we go. Dug out. We just got to send over the 3-ball, but that's going to be deep and out by Johnson. Point Marshall. Timeout Hunters. Marshall with a 3-point lead, 8-5.
You know?
20 seconds left in the break. Hunters ready to break. Marshall already breaking their huddle. Service error by Marshall, their first. Good timeout by Coach Maria when you can get a service error after a timeout. Here, Alex Johnson to serve. Deep serve. That's going to be a service ace for Johnson. as Johnson does a little jig to celebrate. Rotation violation by Marshall gives the point to the Hunters, which would have been a service error. Actually, that's a redo, a call. There was a mistake. Out by Marshall, point Denfeld. So now we are at 8-8. It got over. Treadle tight to the net. Side out Marshall. So Marshall up 9-8 right now. Off the tape. Treadle over to Bessel. Bessel bumps it over deep. Deep pass. That's going to be a lift by Marshall and point Hunters. Side out and a point. Poppenberg to serve. 9-9 tie. Deep serve by Poppenberg. Oh, just missing. Third service error by Denfeld in this second set. Underhand serve. Jones over to Treadle. Linetto gets it over, down, and in for the kill. Hunters don't let the underhand serve get them caught off guard. Here's Treadle with the serve. Hard serve. And that was self-defense. Johnsrud had her life flash in front of her eyes as Treadle went and let the heat fly. But Treadle tries to soft serve and just ends up with Denfeld's fourth service error. Linetto pushes it over. Treadle, Jones, Linetto goes far down the cross court and in. Side out Hunters. Hunters up 12-11. Vessel letting her heat fly a little bit. Marshall able to handle that. Vessel passes over to Treadle. Treadle over to Johnson. But that is out of play. Side out Marshall. Now tied at 12. Johnson pass to Treadle. Johnson takes it over again. Just kind of pushes it over. And into the net was Johnson. Was into the net. Point Marshall. Here's Marshall with the serve. Vessel over to Treadle. Off the tip, off the block. Treadle pushes it over. The block by Marshall sends it back to Treadle. And she's able to convert. And Marshall goes back cross court in for the point. Treadle, I think, had a laugh about that because she just punched it over the second one. And we actually had a conversation with her about some of the teams down in the cities where you saw some of the shorter girls using that technique a lot. Here's a service error by Marshall. Their second of the game. There, Jones. Back row attack by Marshall. Serves it into the, or pushes it into the net. Hunters up 15-14. Let's see if they can get a run here. Jones with the serve. She's got a good serve too. And there's the service ace to prove it. Timeout Marshall. 2-point lead for the Hunters. And now a minute break. Going back to the story, Ava Treadle was like, no, I'll never do that. That looks weird. And now she did it and it was successful. So we'll see if that's another tool that'll go into Treadle's tool bag. Marshall and Denfeld break the huddle. Hunters again up by 2, 16-14. Service error by the Hunters. Their fifth. Marshall, service error, returns the favor, their third. Let's see if one of the Hunters servers can get hot here. Looping serve. Marshall sets it up into the net. Jones, Treadle. Johnson's going to put over the 3 ball. That's going to be close to the net. Marshall just going to hit it over 2. Johnson, Treadle, into the net is Treadle. She couldn't put it on the brakes. Hunters up 17-16 with the Marshall serve coming up by Johnsrud. Hahn, unable to dig that one out. Service ace by Johnsrud for Marshall. Ties it up at 17. Deep serve. Deflects off Jones. And point Marshall. Marshall now goes up by 1, 18-17. Serve. Deep corner and out. Timeout Hunters again. Hunters can't let this one go and slip away. Marshall has a 19-17 lead. On the JV team, the Hunters, sometimes the back row lets some of these things get into their head, and then there's 3, 4, 5, 6-point runs, which they have to just stop that. And that is also Denfeld's last timeout for this set. Jones, Vessel, Pond pushes it over. Marshall gets to set it up. They're tight to the net. Treadle, Hoppenberg pushes it over. Here Marshall sets it up, and that is out. Side out Hunters. Hunters needed that error in the worst way. So Linetto comes into the game. Poppenberg to serve. Bella Poppenberg slaps the ball a couple times, lets it fly. Here Marshall hits it over the tape. Treadle over to Vessel. Vessel lammers it. Number 6, Johnsrud had the one from Treadle go at her face, and that one Vessel took a shot at. Johnsrud's probably thinking, I don't want to play this anymore. And that's off the tip. And that's off the tip. That's a point for the Hunters. Service ace. Hunters up 20-19. Deep serve. Marshall's got to set it over the 3-ball. Poppenberg digs it out. Treadle. Johnson just bumps it over. Here Marshall's scrambling a bit. They take a swing though, and it's into the net. Hunters up 21-19. Timeout Marshall. Denfeld needs to keep the momentum going with having a 2-point lead. .30 seconds left in the 1-minute timeout. Marshall has 1 timeout left, I believe. Hunters have no timeouts left. Oh, that both timeouts used up by both teams, so no timeouts left for either team this set. Hoppenberg, strong serve. Marshall takes a swing. Hoppenberg just pushes it over on the one. And that goes into the net. That would have been a lift anyway by Marshall. Hunters up 22-19. Poppenberg dealing the hot hand. Here Marshall sets it up. They take a swing. Poppenberg. Treadle. Vessel. Deep swing out, side out Marshall. Hunters up 22-20. Pond digs it out. Treadle. Linetto gets it over. Here Marshall sets it up. That's tight to the net. Pond digs it out. Treadle's got to go back for the set. There's Johnson takes a swing. That's going to be into the net. And here Marshall is Jones over to Treadle. Linetto takes a swing. Marshall's scrambling yet. They put over the 3-ball. Jones. Treadle gets under. Here comes Vessel. Yeah, down and in for a point. Hunters up 23-20. comes Treadle. Deep serve. That's going to be a service. Hey! Hunters now 1 point away from the set win and the match win. 24-20. That Treadle released the fire. Here we go. Deep serve. Down and in. Oh, they call it out. Oh, my. So, side out, Marshall. Marshall up 21-24. Still set point for the Hunters. Vessel over to Treadle. Linetto down, and that's set point, and that does it. Hunters take that one, 25-21. So how it ran out was Hunters winning the first set 27-25 and second set 25-21 for the victory against Marshall's JV. So we are looking at about, as the varsities go and warm up, be coming back to you. I think my watch died, but coming back to you in about 30 minutes is what we look at. So we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for watching. Awesome job, Hunters.